Hey guys, it's Mike with Redneck Politics, where real American voices matter. Guys, I got something in store today for you. It's a little bit different. Sure, we can. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on, and you can pick apart every little thing. But this the thing, what I want to do today is I'm gonna tell you a little story because in the end you'll find out that we are the true American people that deserves our democracy and our freedoms, our rights to vote, to stand in front of your accuser, to have your due process. Our country was based on those ideals. And here we are. And that's what makes America so great. But what makes America great is the people in America. And some of the things that they do are just amazing. Uh, they will stand up and fight for freedom, just their own, anybody. The story goes back about 5, 6 years, and some of you, I'm sure, will know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you may have heard of it, but not really know the in depth of it. Uh, and some of you, this will be the first time you've ever, hearing this story. But back in the day, during the 2020 election, uh, there was a lot of conniving and scheming going on, as we know that, being that we're 5 years out now. We know what happened. It's like with January 6th, we know what happened. And that was a president who did not want to give up his power. Well, they had a lot of different schemes going, and they needed to figure out which one was going to work. They had one in mind that they thought would work perfectly, except they misjudged one person. But they had this thing called the fake elector scheme that they wanted to use in the swing states. And that was not use the regular electors that are supposed to, that are sworn in and elected to do that, to sign saying this is the numbers and this is who, Georgia is representing, who the president is. There was Georgia, there was Arkansas, there was Michigan, I think Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. But the most famous of them is the one where Trump actually made the call from the Oval Office to Raffensperger in Georgia, where he was asking this man on a recorded line to find him 11,780 votes. That's one more than we need to win, he says. This was a blatant out, this is flat out crime. And this man was on the airway doing it. We've never heard of any president acting like that. It floored everybody. But the fake electors the way it was supposed to go down was each elected representative from that state would get the certificate to go to Mike Pence. Mike Pence was the key to it all. If Mike Pence went along with Trump's reasoning and his ideals, then Trump would have been president right then without even having to have January 6th. But Mike Pence, a Republican who I do not always see eye to eye with, but he stood up as an American and he made that move. And I'm very proud of him as an American There are some fine people in the state of Georgia. There's nobody I've ever met in the state. If you've never been to the state of Georgia, I'm going to tell you something. You got your city, but then, I mean, not even a mile outside the city limits, so you got your country. And these folks are country. They're just good. They're the type of people that say, come on in. They don't care if you're Republican. They don't care if you're a Democrat. You just good old people, because they feel that if you've been raised with the same morals and values that they were raised with, you know the difference between right and wrong, and how to treat people, how to be kind, how to help, how to be part of that community, how to give back to that community, But the people that I'm fixing to mention out of Georgia are some of the finest and bravest people I've ever could think of. And I'm telling you, they're Republicans. Now here I am fixing to tell you that I got some Republicans that I look up to. And I'm telling you, Massey's one of them. Rand Paul is sometimes. But most of the time he is. But this was Brian Kemp, which was the governor of Georgia at that time. He was put in a hell of a spot, because now, he's wanting to do the right thing, but how do you ruffle the feathers of your own party from a man that is a true 100% fucking psycho that lies and cheats and manipulates about everything, and who's very vindictive? We'll talk about that in a minute. Kemp, he wouldn't back down. He would not. And he stood firm. Another one was lieutenant governor at the time, and that was Jeff Duncan. And he was another one that went toe-to-toe with Trump. Of course, Raffensperger, him having that conversation with Raffensperger. Can you imagine? President of the United States calls you. You're three of the highest people in Georgia. They're your party. And they're telling you to find me 11,780 votes, knowing what he's asking. And what do you do about it? But see, these men didn't have to wait that long. They knew instinctively. They knew who they were, what they represented, what their morals and values are, and what they were not going to do to hurt other folks, to entertain, or make somebody else rich. Those three people are, and there is another one, I cannot think of his name, and I feel like an idiot. Man, he gave Trump hell right there at the podium, at the bottom of the steps in the cap in Georgia. But you see, all of Georgia and all of his Republican voters got to see for the very first time truly about Trump. He lost a lot of people at that time. Yes, he got voted back into office just one time, and you can go over that story 100 different ways, and there may be reasons why it happened that way. Whatever. I'm talking about 2020 right now. But he was hell-bent determined to keep that. Because what a lot of people don't know is that Bannon and him, remember that build the wall, and we're going to have Mexico pay for it and all that shit? Well, they started building a wall. Mexico did not pay for it at all. So what happened? Trump gets Bannon to gather a lot of your Republican donors to scrounge up $25 million to finish the wall. Well, let me just put it this way. They didn't finish the wall. They split the money, and Steve Bannon got a pardon. Go figure. See, that's the kind of goddamn corruption going on in our White House that we can't take this. Even him calling, a governor of a state because he's a fucking Republican. You think he's stupid enough to fucking change your goddamn numbers because you're a fucking thieving idiot, a con. but he didn't, buddy. He didn't bite. Nobody in fucking Georgia bought. And I'm very proud of them. But the one person I'm talking about more today than anything is Fani Willis. Think about that woman. Here she is, the first person in the United States to get an actual printed mugshot of a sitting president and charge him with crimes that others was too scared to charge him of. They were scared. Well, like I said, Georgia's a Republican state. You know, a lot of these Republicans, like I said, some good people, but they also have another side to them, and that's that Republican. And they're gonna protect and defend that Republican. And hey, that's good, no problem. Just remember though, we're all Americans. That Republican too. We're all Americans. We're all brothers and sisters. Period. But this girl has been through the ringer. Nobody gave her anything. She grew up in Georgia, just like every other little girl. She ended up going to college, went on to be a fine prosecutor, made some famous cases. And then when this one come across the table, that woman not one fucking time backed down. Had nothing to do because Trump was who he is, and we all know he's a racist pig, but we also know he has fucking due rights. You know, something he don't give us, but he wants to give to everybody else. He wants to give retribution on anybody that don't agree with him, and Fani Willis is one of them because she was doing her fucking job. They're still trying to kick her out of being the DA in Georgia. So far, I don't think it's worked. I think they did pull her off of that case. I'm not sure. They try to, you know, have these conspiracies and everything, and that's how they end up getting away with a lot of shit, because you muddy the fucking water long enough, and you're not going to be able to get the truth from anything. But guys, it's Fani Willis who I'm talking about. She is standing up against the president, the people backing the president, all that money that's behind the president. For a point. He broke the law. I don't care what the Supreme Court says. I'm going to abide by the Supreme Court, always will. But I do not believe this, that Trump is above the law kind of shit. In our Constitution, it is no man above the law. But guys, these are people that we need to thank every day for doing the right things when they did it. Because just imagine if they would have done the things that, you know, that people were wanting them to do, all of this may have turned out completely different, and we could have been in a worse spot. Who knows? But it would have been wrong. Period. Because we are taught through our parents, through our education, through our religious community, to our peers. We know the difference between right and wrong. We know what morals and values and all. Everybody knows it. The difference is the motherfuckers who choose not to use it. And when you have a man like Trump, he's that goddamn rich. And the only way he's that rich is off the back of the United States of America, because he wasn't worth about $5 million when he started Apprentice. I'm sure he made a lot of money, and that makes him filthy rich right there. But he thinks that because of all that and him being the president, he can just do anything he fucking wants to anybody. And right now, he's got a reason to believe that. The Democrats need to stand up and stop cherry picking what they want to fight about and put it all out there on the line, man. If we need to get more podcasters out here to do the shit, we'll do the fucking shit. But guys, today, think about our American brothers and sisters that are with us. You know, it's not about, politics. It's about being, You know, a diehard American, man. I love being American. I love being here in my country. And I wouldn't hesitate to die for it. I just want everybody to call out what you see is wrong. Sending ICE to different fucking states and yeah, I mean, you done locked the goddamn borders down, so now you got everybody locked in like hogs. And then you just go in there and pick out whichever fucking hog you want. And then nobody ever sees them again. Or their life has been turned upside down completely and they're gone forever, even though they were raised here in the United States of America. They can't stay because they're not 21 yet, so they have to go back to Honduras with mama. You know, it is both the fault of the Democrats and Republicans that we're in the shape that we're in with our immigration. Shutting down the border, great deal. Let's get it all together. Get it fucking right, and then we can start opening up a legal process for these people. Our biggest thing is right now is economics. I mean, our cost of living's gone up so goddamn high. Trump ain't listening. Trump don't give a fuck. Trump don't listen. You know, I'm not even sure if he knows what a goddamn egg looks like. You think that somebody's ever walk in there and pick out a bag of fucking cereal or a box of cereal? No, he's never done any of that. He don't know what it's like to get up to the register and say, I got 6 kids. I've got 3 buggies here. I need 4 buggies, but I'm scared I don't have enough but for 2. That's a scary feeling, man. You know, we should not be in that shape. We got money going out too far, too many different goddamn places, too many other different fucking countries. We be giving out billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars for them to do their little fucking bullshit so they can fucking sit back and drink goddamn martinis out of their country while you got fucking diehard Americans busting their ass every fucking day, paying in their taxes and every goddamn thing else, following the fucking law like you want them to goddamn follow. Not leading by example, but how you want them to fucking follow. But you'd rather help them folks than us because you wouldn't have cut the goddamn Medicaid and you wouldn't have cut the motherfucking SNAP. So you're a goddamn liar if you're going to sit there and tell folks that you're for the American people because you're full of shit. Guys, if you like this type of material, please hit subscribe, hit the like, and hit that alert bell for more of it because I'm just getting started. Much love. Peace. See y'all later.